it's the Lego Brit here, and today I am extremely excited to be showing you the second part of my Lego Star Wars Clone Patrol MOC series. Recently on the channel, I put out a video showcasing my latest MOC project, which was a series of small MOCs called the Clone Patrol. And at that point, I didn't really know I was going to do a second part, but you know what? I decided that there were so many more planets and things that I could do to go with it, so here we have it. 5 more, so I have double the amount of MOCs in the series. Here we have it, my Clone Patrol MOCs Part 2. So here we have it, 5 more MOCs right here for the Clone Patrol MOC series, and all based off different biomes. So over here we have a red star planet, a bit like Dathomir. I think that's probably my personal favourite. We're going to go over to that one in just a second. We have a water here and a bridge, so pretty nice one there. We have a jungly star planet, quite pleased with this one, and 2 sandy biomes, both based off different planets. You might be wondering, hang on, why are they exactly the same? Well, they're not, so make sure you keep watching and I will show you why I built them like that. But let's get straight into showing them individually. Just before we do that, one thing I'd like to point out is that in the first part of my Clone Patrol MOC series, I used Phase 2 clones, and they are awesome. I absolutely love those figures, especially that ARC Trooper, but this time I thought, you know what, let's mix things up, and I used some Phase 1 clones here, because you know what, I think Phase 1 clones was a really nice classic era of the Clone Wars, and these Phase 1 clones are definitely underrated, so I just thought, you know what, let's use Phase 1 clones this time. And the first Clone Patrol MOC that I'm going to be showing to you is this red Rocky Star MOC, and I am so pleased with this. I think it looks really cool. I actually didn't have any sort of plan when I was building this, so you know, I just put my pieces together. For the other ones, I just decided, you know, I had a plan, but for this one, there was no plan for this whatsoever. I think it was probably influenced by Dathomir from Jedi Fallen Order, but I am super pleased with this one, so let's get into these small details. When I was building this MOC, I think I probably used up all of my dark red pieces here, but you know what, I am so pleased with the outcome. I think it looks like a proper alien world. I'm very pleased with it. So I used some quite slick tiling pieces here, and I'm very pleased with that. I did mix in a couple of translucent red pieces here and there, and very pleased with how that turned out. Over here you can see I did mix in some black just because the colour contrast between that dark red and the black looks absolutely awesome. So this is probably my favourite from this second series. I'm so pleased with it. It looks like Dathomir, or even if it's not Dathomir, it's definitely an alien world. This clone trooper standing right there on patrol. Very pleased with this one. Let's get into the next one. Next up we have a pretty simplistic MOC here, but you know what, I think it is probably the prettiest of them all. I think it looks really cute on display, and I'm so pleased with how this water turned out. I used loads of different textures of pieces here. You can see I used flat ones there and cheese slopes, and I think it's so good. I used a blue base just underneath a grey base there to keep things all together, and I have my Phase 1 ARC Trooper standing there. I'm very pleased with that. The bridge has a pretty simplistic design, but you know what, I think it looks so pretty. This is definitely the one for display, so very cute MOC. Let's move on to the next one. Next up we have a clone on patrol on a green star planet, and I am so pleased with how this one turned out. I think it looks awesome. It's not a full forest obviously because it's only got one tree, but I like all the different foliage that I've used. I think it's very cool. You can see I've used lots of different plants there and a grass piece there and lots of different bushy style things to imagine him moving through a forest. We've got a tree piece there, and turning it around you can see we've got even more bushes. I've actually tried to use some green slopes as well, and I just think that adds to the idea of bushes all around him. Very pleased, and we've obviously got that plain Phase 1 clone trooper. That looks awesome. I am incredibly happy with how this one turned out. It took massive inspiration from the MBS Cantina set, which is my all-time favourite Lego set. It's an absolutely awesome one, and the door outside the Cantina has some really nice terrain, and I took loads of inspiration from that using these colours here. I did obviously add my own to this, and this isn't taken at all. This is all my own design, but I did take lots of inspiration. You can see I used this technique here so that I could have plaques and things on the walls. Very pleased with that. Some nice tiling on the front, and we have this arch piece, which I'm so pleased with. That looks like it's on Tatooine, so this here we have a Tatooine mini MOC. Very pleased with how that one turned out. One thing that I did forget to mention just there is you can see we do have a little barrel attached to this piece here, and that actually has a kyber crystal in, so very nice. I just thought that was a fun detail to add in if you're playing with this set, but these are primarily made for display, definitely not play. Here we have it. This is the final MOC which I built for the second series of the Clone Patrol MOCs, and you're probably thinking, okay, that looks cool, but you literally just showed us this Sandy mini MOC, which looks pretty much identical to this one. Now, there are a number of reasons for this. Number one, this is actually based off Jakku. It is not based off Tatooine like the last one. It does have a completely different colour scheme. You can see this one here has a lot of grey and that tining there. Takes major inspiration from the Encounter on Jakku set based off The Force Awakens. So I use lots of pieces that are used in that set just to try and recreate that. But the other more major reason is that when you put them together, so if you're buying this series, if LEGO were releasing it, you could collect them. So you can put them together and it creates an arch. You can see you can actually connect those two there. And there's an arch, so there are 2 clones on patrol. So you can either buy Jakku, Tatooine, or combine them together. So I just thought that was a really, really original idea to do. Obviously, that is the major detail, is that you can connect this one to the other one, but there are some other little quirks that I included in this one. For instance, you can see here, there's actually a clip which is holding down a broken down battle droid, just like a rusty old battle droid. You can see I used those pieces there to create that, as if it's been left on the battlefield, so he's been having a battle with this droid here, but that didn't work out for the poor little droid there. And you can see we have these slope pieces, so it is a pretty different design to the last one, but obviously the main thing is that you can collect them, and that's really the main draw for getting these two together. Just before I end the video, I think you'd like to see how they all look all together. So here we have it. Now, I actually tried getting them all in one line, and that didn't even fit in the camera. It measured 2 meters long, which is absolutely insane. It shows how small MOCs, as I always say, can come together to make something just as good as something big. So I'm so pleased with how this all turned out. It looks like an amazing MOC project. I spent so long on this, and I'm really pleased to see it all together, so we can see Series 1 at the back, my original ones, and Series 2, the ones I've been showcasing today. Thank you very much for watching this showcase of my second series of the Clone Patrol MOCs. I am super happy with how these turned out, and the variation of biomes that I've got going on with the front 3 there, and the collection potential that you can have for the back 2, where you can put them together and create massive MOCs with them. So very pleased with how these turned out. Let me know what you think of this series in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. Goodbye.